Hey y'all, I'm Donna.
And I'm Kerri.
And we are Paranormal Chicks.
Episode 19.
Crazy.
I can't, I feel like I say this every single episode, but I cannot believe this is real life.
I know, right?
We had such a huge week.
I can't.
Y'all are fucking amazing.
Yes.
The support that y'all give us is just unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, how is this real life?
I know. I kind of teared up this week with everything.
Like right now?
I am not.
You wanted to?
I'm not crying. You're crying.
But, and I guess, and we should tell them, in case you missed it, we did a Facebook Live, just like a...
Impromptu.
Yeah. I mean, we planned it for the most part.
Yeah, we planned it to be a surprise.
Yeah. So we launched our Patreon store.
Yes.
Is that a store?
No, it's not a store. A page.
Patreon page.
Yes.
And our merch store.
Yes.
I combined the two. So our Patreon page, we have the different tiers. So, feel free to go take a gander at that.
It ranges from $1 to $30.
But even if you cannot donate the money, we completely understand. We have been there in life.
Yes.
So do not feel bad if you can't donate. That is totally okay.
But something that it doesn't cost you anything, but it's very valuable to us, are reviews.
Yes.
Stitcher, iTunes, wherever, reviews. And we want to hear your feedback, too.
Absolutely. And then merch launched.
Yes. And by the time this comes out, we'll have even more merch that is available.
Yes, because Jason Daniel, who designed our cover art, our logos, he also designed some of the shirts of stuff that we say a lot, or, oh my God, I need them all.
Yeah, when we were doing it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy them all. I have to.
Well, okay, so I've already gotten in the mail the Blessed hat.
Yes.
Which I love. I got the light blue one.
I know, and it looks so good on her.
I mean, what can I say? Just kidding. And then I know I have a mug and a shirt coming.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so where to get to our merch and where to get to our Patreon, we're going to move along because Jesus Christ.
He's coming back.
No, we just like to tangent.
Oh, gosh. Okay, yeah. You can get them from our website, aparanormalchicks.com. They're linked there on the home bar. Or you can just go to Patreon and search for us. It'll pull us up. And actually, you need to go to the Patreon page because the screenshot of Kerri's face
is god awful, y'all. First of all, I think that we used a webcam from 1992.
I got a new one, y'all. I got a new one.
The webcam is god awful. The background looks like we're in a dungeon. We made that background. It's PVC. I don't even want to tell y'all. It's so god awful. It's PVC pipe, and we went to Joann's Fabrics to get the background, and we were trying to figure out which one to get, and so we got this black one with some designs, and it just looks like a cave of darkness behind us.
Yes.
It does not look good. We will be re-recording that when I finally get my house ready and done and move in, and
we
have a space. Here. I know, God, we need a podcasting space so bad.
Yes.
Can this house business please hurry up?
Right. And newer equipment on some stuff, which is where Patreon comes in. We have it all on the page, so you can read about it. And I think the rewards are pretty damn good. And we're going to keep adding stuff, too. Mm. But the store you can get through from our website or go to store.aparanormalchicks.com.
Yes.
Okay.
In other news.
Oh, me.
Yes.
Y'all, it was a sad day and then it was a happy day.
All in one.
Yeah. That's probably why I was emotional.
Yeah, that's why.
It was a death.
Okay.
Of a car.
Mm-hmm.
Yolanda the Honda was a good car to me.
She was.
She was my boo. Everything's my boo, if you don't know. Mm-hmm. Kerri is not impressed. But yeah, so she died while I was getting my oil changed.
Donna said, damn, I got a full tank of gas and just got an oil change, right? And she died.
I was like, that was like $70. Mm-hmm. What? But yeah, so Kerri, I was like, Kerri, I'm going to need you to work your magic and get me a good price on a car. She did. We went that night. Y'all, anyway, I'm not going to bore you with the details. But I got a Honda CR-V, and it's amazing.
It's like a fucking spaceship.
Y'all, if y'all need a new car, go drive a Honda CR-V. Because it's a smooth ride, and it has all the bells and whistles.
Well, the one you got does, yeah.
Yeah. But I think they're all pretty nice.
I don't know. I'm a Toyota girl myself.
He Stuttering Stanley. Pedro, who was our sales guy, which he doesn't know about the podcast, but shout out Pedro.
Well, go ahead.
Okay. Well, but he almost had Kerri like...
Did he, though? He didn't.
Oh.
A little.
Okay.
Just the bells and whistles really were nice. But, okay, so it was so funny because... So, Donna's buying this car.
Yeah.
But, of course, I'm controlling AF. And am the one, like, negotiating for her.
Yes.
She did a good job, though. A couple times she came in with some stuff, and I was like, damn, that was good, Donna.
Thank you.
But they, like, everybody at Honda thought that we were, like, a lesbian couple, that we were buying this car together.
Yes.
Like, y'all's car is ready to... I'm like...
Yep.
I mean, I'll take it if it gets her a better deal. Mm-hmm. No worries about that.
Yep. I was like, I don't care.
Whatever. No, absolutely not. Think of what you want.
I was like, I mean, technically, we are in a relationship. It's just not sexual, and we're, what did I say? We're... like polyamorous or whatever. You know what I mean? Because we are codependent.
Like, never have I realized how codependent we are until, well, I mean, I guess I've always realized, but I don't know. I feel like this week I've really been like, shit, we are so codependent.
Yes.
It's okay, though. I'm okay with it.
Me too. I mean, it's good so far. Also, a question for y'all. So we went to a party, my sister-in-law Barbara's birthday party. My brother and his friends we were all talking about the podcast, so shout out to y'all. And they were talking about Twitch, that they watch gamers on Twitch and whatever, that's their thing. And we were talking about it, and I was like, wait, I would love to watch Kerri play some scary ass games, because one, she screams like a little bitch, and then she'll have to go use the bathroom.
Nuh-uh. I'll just use those panties that Jennifer just posted.
True. And then I'm gonna be laughing like a fool at her, and then maybe vice versa. I'll play it, and then whatever. But would y'all like to watch that kind of stuff? Like, it's a live feed of that, and we can do like hangouts there too, whatever. But I was just thinking of some different content, but it's still like scary games, because they said they have this one game that is like super terrifying, that you hear like ambient noise in the headphones and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I, like, even if y'all don't want to, I'm making Kerri play that game. But I'm telling you, like, it has to be genuine. So if you miss it on the first go round, you're going to miss it, because she is going to die.
Well, even like that night, I had moved to sit next to Donna because we were talking to our friend Zach about, because he had gone to the Myrtles.
Yeah.
And so we were talking with Zach about it, so I moved closer so I could hear him better, and I had taken Donna's brother's seat. And while he came up beside me, and I didn't even know he was there, and he like got down my ear and was like, "Why are you in my seat?" or something, like joking. And I jumped, and it scared the shit out of me. And his buddy Chris was like, "Yeah, we're making these videos. She's playing these games."
Because she's so animated when she's scared. And she scares so easily.
I do. I am such a scaredy cat.
Yes. I mean, like, I'll hide in a hallway that she has to pass through, and I will scare her. Like, randomly during the day.
People getting scared is one of the funniest things on the planet to me.
Right? Anyway, so let us know. Tweet us, message us, whatever. Yes, no, I don't care.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'll get on that.
Also, something I found today. So, someone painted with their own blood this masterpiece, right? And they used some of Charles Manson's ashes, like remains,
Yeah.
in this painting.
This is one of those paintings you don't get a do-over on.
Right?
Like, don't fuck it up.
Right? Okay. Guess who bought it?
You. RuPaul. The reason why I thought RuPaul was because of the don't fuck it up.
Oh, yeah.
Lip sync for your life and don't fuck it up.
Yes. No.
Karen and Georgia.
No.
Or
Okay.
on a first name basis.
Don't guess. You suck. You suck.
You're suck.
You're suck. God. Fuck. That's why God don't like ugly, okay? I shouldn't have said it. No. My bedazzled boo.
No.
Zac
Efron. No.
He probably does wear something bedazzled, but no. Zac Bagans.
Wow.
Yes. He bought it. And, hold on. So he's putting it in that haunted museum.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that he has Manson's dentures.
Yeah.
But he also bought a pentagram necklace that Manson had crafted from toilet paper.
Yeah. Which we knew. Well, like, remember I told you that he does like the scorpions and
but he has it.
Yeah.
So he has like his little like collection
Shrine
growing.
to Manson, yeah.
Yeah. But I was like, old Zac always making the news.
Mm-hmm.
But Charles Manson's ashes.
Look, Zac is rolling in the dough.
Right? He's like, it's haunted. I want it. It's weird. I want it. You know, whatever. I want it. And you know what? That makes me want it too. And I'm like, let me go to your museum.
I know. I want to go. And in Vegas.
Mm-hmm. That and slot machines. I'm good. Oh, and a buffet. But I'm good. Okay. So I think that's it. Sorry, that was a long one, but merch, Patreon, that was huge for us. And that's it. So let's get into your story, girl.
Okay.
Oh, never mind. No, I'm just kidding.
God dang it. Okay, I am doing a story based on the request of my girl Megan at work. She was listening. I can't remember what podcast she was listening to. Of course, I can't remember. And she was like, okay, I need you to do this story because I need more information. It's on the serial killing duo of Leonard Lake and Charles Ng Kaitat.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway, it's like Charles Ng is what he goes by. I don't know what the last part is. I guess it's the last name. Anyway.
And Megan said she wanted more detail from you.
I hate you. All she said was the story of Charles Ng. I don't know what the Kaitat is.
It's just his last name, but whatever. Yeah, Kaitat.
Okay. It's like Kai squared and statistics.
Chi Omega?
That too?
Who knows that shit? Like, I've never heard of that.
Anybody who's ever taken a statistics class or read a journal article?
Yeah, not me. The only fucking article I read is like, what's
Cosmo?
a good sex life? Or the highlights from the dentist office. I find all those
I was about
things.
to say, look, I got a highlights when I was a kid, and I still look at it at the places like that because I love finding those fucking objects.
If I find that, I'm like, yeah.
Look.
Ooh, but you know what I don't like? Another tangent. When people circle them.
Yeah, don't fucking circle some shit that goes up in a fucking
public
thing.
place.
Yes. That ain't yours.
Right? And sometimes it's wrong. I'm like, you dumb.
Meanwhile, it's like a 4-year-old.
But yeah, I love those. Anyway.
Okay.
Tell me about Kaitat.
We're going to call him Charles Ng.
I mean, I think Cat has more of a street cred.
But that's not what he's known as. Okay. Charles Ng was born in British Hong Kong, and his parents were very wealthy. His dad was some form of executive, and I think he had a sister. Just one, though. Okay, so as all these stories go, Charles Ng was raised in a very strict household where his father was a very stern disciplinarian that was abusive, not just like discipline, it was abuse.
Gosh.
He had a very troubled kind of like childhood, teenage years. A lot of his stuff was for shoplifting, and that kind of even carried on into adulthood for him. It was expelled from a lot of schools. He was a serious kind of loner.
Golly. No one knew how to say his fucking last name. Or if that was his last name. Look at old Cat over there.
Oh my God. Okay. Charles Ng.
They're going to be like, who?
I know. So many names. He went to a grammar school in North Yorkshire, England. But like pretty much as soon as he got there, he was expelled from stealing from other students and had to go back to Hong Kong.
Oh, man.
So that's kind of his, like, the threads that weave through this story is that, like, he steals something and he gets caught. And he steals something and he gets caught.
Yeah.
In 1978, Charles Ng moved to the United States on a student visa so that he could go to Notre Dame to study biology. However, he dropped out after one semester.
He probably had to dissect something.
It's so funny. I was talking with somebody just yesterday about like all the things we've dissected through school because she taught at a university but then would like go to high schools to teach the high school kids like dissection and stuff. Mm-hmm. We were talking about all the different things we had dissected, and she's done some crazy shit. But anyway, so around the time that he dropped out of Notre Dame is when he met Leonard Lake.
Okay.
And those two began their troublesome friends.
Escapades. Mm-hmm. They were really partners in crime.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so right after he met Leonard, Charles Ng was involved in a hit-and-run accident. And so in order to not get in trouble, he was like, hey, I'll join the Marines.
Dang.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to back up a little bit and talk about Leonard Lake, and then we'll go into some more details about the Marines. So Leonard Lake was born in San Francisco. He was raised by his maternal grandmother because when he was 6, his parents separated, and so he and his siblings had to go move in with his grandmother. Here's the thing. His childhood was so fucked up.
Oh, gosh.
So his grandmother basically encouraged him and steered him towards taking nude photos of his sisters.
What?
Yes. And then he, like, became obsessed with pornography. Also, I think kind of at his grandmother's pushing. So the other thing that he would do, he would force his sisters to perform sexual acts on him.
Oh, my gosh.
And would take pictures and, like, record it.
What?
And then use that to blackmail his sisters. Mm-hmm.
Whoa, that's fucking twisted.
That is.
Whoa.
But again, like, his grandmother, I don't think she necessarily was like, hey, make your sisters perform sex. She could have been. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But she definitely was encouraging of the taking the nude pictures like, of the sisters and all that. Like, she was in that.
Yeah. I don't think you have a line. If you're doing that.
True. She may have
There's no
been.
fucking line.
Yeah. And I saw, again, this is a bunch of articles kind of put together. And so, some stuff had a little bit of detail about that. But most of it was just like the grandma was involved. He would use these images of his sisters performing, I'm assuming like oral sex and stuff on him to blackmail them. The other thing he would do is he would collect mice and then kill the mice by dissolving them in chemicals.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I know. So after he graduated from high school, he also enlisted in the Marines. This was in 1964. he did 2 tours of duty in Vietnam. He was a radar electronics technician. It was while he was in the Marines that he was diagnosed with schizoid personality disorder. And then they said that he had like a delusional breakdown. And so they discharged him with a medical discharge in 1971 from the Marines. So after the medical discharge from the Marines, Leonard Lake moved to San Jose and attended San Jose State University, but he quit after 1 semester because he was really into like the hippie lifestyle, the kind of commune type community and, you know, that whole thing. And so...
Is he really Charles Manson?
No. So he did move into a commune, and he was married in 1975, but his wife divorced him when she found out that this whole time they were married, he was starring in like amateur porn movies.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. And they said that the porns were like heavy in bondage and sadomasochism.
Oh, gosh.
So for the next like 8 years, he lived at the Greenfield Ranch, and then he eventually married again, and her name was Clara Ann Balaz. I think that's how I'm saying it. It's Balazs. She went by Cricket, so that's what we're going to call her.
Contact Cricket? Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. Do they get together? Because that would be a good... I shipped them already. Contact and Cricket.
Okay. So, in addition to kind of this commune lifestyle that Lake was really into, as part of Lake's kind of schizoid personality with his paranoia, he thought that there was a nuclear holocaust that was about to occur.
Oh, gosh.
And so he started to build a bunker, like, on the property that he was living on. And the owner was like, skirt. You can't fucking do that on my land. Get the fuck out.
Damn.
Okay. So now we're going to back up a little bit again to old Charles Ng being in the Marines.
I cannot believe you did not make one Kimmy Schmidt joke.
About the bunker?
Yeah.
It's not appropriate.
Oh.
When you hear the rest of the story, you'll be like...
Oh, damn.
Okay.
Foreshadowing of...
The foreskin.
Oh, God, is it? Oh, God. In the bunker?
Okay. So, Charles Ng joined the Marines in 1979, and he said that how he joined... Because he was from Hong Kong, and so he said that there was a recruiting sergeant that falsified documents that he lived in Bloomington, Indiana, so that he could join the military.
Dang.
But that's fucking fake, because you don't have to be a U.S. citizen to be in the Marine. Like, you don't have to be.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't know if that was just... I don't know if that was just at the time, or if it's now. People are probably like, you're fucking stupid, but this is what the internet had said.
That sounds really weird.
It says, although U.S. citizenship is not needed to join the military.
Because, I mean, so someone from, like, Russia could just be like, I want to join your military?
Get all our secrets. I don't fucking know.
I mean,
I'm just saying, this is what it has said.
Okay, well.
Well, actually, yes. Because when all the stuff came out about the Dreamers, like when Trump was trying to get rid of the Dreamers and stuff, there was a guy that was, like, in the news a lot because he had been in the military for, like, 20 years. Came to this country, he was a dreamer. Like, there was a chance he was going to get deported to Mexico because he was a dreamer and wasn't actually a citizen and, like, had this 20-year military career.
Yeah.
So, maybe not.
I don't know. Okay.
Seems like a weird loophole. Mm-hmm. But anyway, regardless of how he came to be in the Marines.
Can someone tell us about that, though, please?
Yeah. He was only in the service for a year when he was arrested for taking... like automatic weapons from the base in Hawaii. I don't know how to say that, so I don't know. Wanahakalugi. I don't know.
Oh, God.
After he was arrested for stealing the weapons in Hawaii, he knew that he was about to be court-martialed, and so he was like, I got to get the fuck out. So in 1980, he escaped and went back to Northern California.
So they're both in California
Yeah,
now.
So that's where... When he did escape in 80, that's when he went back up with Leonard Lake.
Okay. So wait, they did know each other in the military?
No, remember whenever I said that Charles Ng moved to the United States to go to Notre Dame, and then that was when he met Leonard Lake.
Pretty sure you never said that.
I did. And then I said soon, like right after that is when Charles Ng was involved in that hit and run, and that's when he joined the military. And then we talked about who Leonard Lake was.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to talk a little bit about what was going on in Leonard Lake's life at the time.
Oh my gosh, it's back and forth.
Look, you know, it's like a tennis match.
And my neck hurts already.
Cricket. Chicka chicka boom boom. Cricket.
Are you hungry?
I don't know. What's a chicka chicka boom boom?
What?
That's a thing? I thought I just made that up.
It is the most delicious popcorn ever. Well, not as good as the Boy Scouts, but it's healthier.
Literally never heard of that. Chicka chicka boom boom?
Yes.
Is a popcorn? I thought I just made that riddle up.
It's like a popcorn chip. You know, it's on the chip aisle, but it's popcorn.
All right, so it's 1982 now. Leonard Lake, Charles Ng, BFFs living together in a mobile home.
Awesome.
Well, somehow, some way, the feds find out about they got a stash of illegal weapons and explosives.
Oh, fuck.
So the feds raid it and arrest them. Lake was released on $6,000 bond.
The fuck?
Yeah, so of course, what does that mean he do? He do? What does that mean he do? This bitch. New bond, who dis? Okay, anyway, that means he jumped bail.
Oh.
So he started like roaming kind of the states on the lam as a different people.
Oh.
So Charles Ng, though, was returned to the Marines because he was facing charges for that theft of the weapons and desertion charges.
Oh, fuck.
So they ship old Ng back to the Marines and let the Marines deal with him.
Okay.
So he takes a plea deal and he served 18 months in the military stockade at Fort Leavenworth.
Oh.
And that's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. But he eventually was paroled after 18 months and was dishonorably discharged in 84.
You have brought dishonor to us all. That's from Mulan.
I know.
You didn't look like you knew.
I didn't.
Oh.
No, I think I really did. Okay, so what does one codependent friend do when he's released from prison? Goes and find his best friend. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm. Send a homing pigeon.
Find
my homie.
I know. I really was like, though, okay, so if Leonard Lake is like for real on the lam, using all these different names and stuff, how in the hell did Charles Ng find him? Maybe they had like a code.
Yeah.
I won't be on the run. Find me at
just
1313 Mockingbird Lane.
Just like on Shawshank.
True. Okay.
And they found each other?
Okay. So when Ng found Lake was renting this really remote cabin.
That's not spooky.
In Calaveras County. And he was like, yo, Ng, come on down. You remember how old Leonard Lake really likes a bunker because he thinks that a nuclear holocaust is coming. Yeah. So next to the cabin...
Is that why he had the stash of guns and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so next to the cabin, he built his little new kind of bunker, but he called it his dungeon.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, because, okay, so after, like, obviously we know they're going to be serial killers. So after they were caught, they found that Leonard Lake kept all of these journals, like very detailed journals about everything. And so that's why I say how we know that he called it his dungeon.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like giving us a spoiler already.
Mm-mm. It's said that his brother Donald and his best friend Charles Gunner came to like help him with the building and all of
Painting,
that. Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
You know, he repaid him with like wine and pizza. I don't know. Just kidding. He repaid them by stealing their money and killing them.
Oh, fuck.
And that's kind of allegedly. However, Leonard Lake, because remember, he is like on the run from this 1982 where he jumped his bail.
Yeah.
And so he started using Charles Gunner's identity.
Oh.
So it's like, oh, that's probably really what happened. Mm-hmm. Because, like, even his mom was like, hold up. Where's Donald? We hadn't seen him since, you know.
His own brother.
Yeah.
That's cold.
Okay, so the dungeon that was next to the cabin is where Lake and Ing would hold their victims and torture them and rape them. And, like, sometimes they would kill people immediately, and sometimes they would keep them for months on end.
Wow.
They remind me a lot of the Toy Box Killer.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that this is not going to have nearly the details of the murder just because I truly couldn't find it. There were some videos that, to be honest, I didn't watch because I just didn't have a chance. It's been ridiculously busy. But so some of the videos may have some more of, like, because they also recorded some of their torture just like the Toy Box Killer.
Yeah.
And so,
and just like he did in his childhood.
Yeah. And so, exactly. And so, I have some detail, but it's not nearly as much.
You saw the...
No, you can see some of the videos. And I don't know, what? I played like 5 seconds of one, and then I was like, no, there are people around. I can't watch this right now. But the part that I saw was just Leonard Lake sitting there, like, in a oversized chair talking to the camera.
Oh, my gosh.
But there are, like, I think you can actually see some of the videos.
Like, not on the dark web?
I don't know.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know. And again, I didn't do any digging into it because time and location of research, you know?
Yes. It's like I don't want to see them because that's terrible. But then at the same time, I'm like, but... I
know.
I just want to know... I don't know.
I know.
I mean, this is why we have a podcast, because it's, like, terrible but awesome.
I know. And it's like... It's one of those...
awesome. Intriguing.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, you want to see it, but on the other hand, you can't unsee it.
Yes.
And so sometimes, so that this doesn't become kind of all-consuming and too overwhelming, that's where you have to draw those lines sometimes.
Yeah.
Of not looking at, you know, because, I mean, God, I can still see... Travis, yes. I can still see his whatever pictures, like, from his autopsy and stuff. And it's like, sometimes you just can't unsee him, ever.
No, I will never forget what he looked like.
Yeah. So if you want to look it up, by all means look it up, but just proceed with caution.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was a book called The Collector. The Collector is a novel by John Fowles.
Was it a movie, too?
I think so.
Okay, sorry.
But their story, Charles and Leonard's story, is also a movie, too. So that could be... So anyway, but in The Collector, it's a story of a woman who was named Miranda. And she was kidnapped and enslaved by a sexual psychopath.
Gosh.
And so so Charles and Leonard were huge fans of this book.
Okay? Obviously.
And so they used a lot of the details in this book towards their fantasies, you know, for their killings.
Yeah. It's like a blueprint.
Mm-hmm. So the whole bunker situation, the whole bunker/dungeon situation and the murders, they coined Operation Miranda.
Really?
Based on I think she's the protagonist in that book, who was the sexual slave to the psychopath. So they coined this whole thing of their torture and killings and all of that, Operation Miranda. Isn't that crazy?
Yes. Wow.
So when authorities searched the dungeon, they found that there were, like, false walls that had, like, a 6.5 foot by 3.5 foot room.
Gosh.
And it said that it only had a bucket and toilet paper inside.
Oh.
So, like, no place to lay down, no nothing, just a bucket and toilet paper.
Wow. I picture that's what, like, that old Charleston jail was. Oh, God.
I know. So the room was also lined with one-way mirror.
Those are so creepy to me.
I know. So, obviously, they could watch in. Mm-hmm. Also, inside on the wall was a list of rules. Okay, rule number 1. I must always be ready to service my master. I must be clean, brushed, and made up with my cell neat.
How's she going to be clean?
Move the bucket to the side.
Oh.
Hide the toilet paper. I don't fucking know.
Oh, where she had the toilet paper?
I must never speak. This is number 2. I must never speak unless spoken to. Unless in bed, I must never look at my master in the eye, but must keep my eyes downcast.
Wow.
Number 3. I must never show my disrespect, either verbally or silent. I must never cross my arms or legs in front of my body or clench my fists. And unless eating, I must always... It said keep my lip farted.
Stop. She makes those farty noises with her mouth.
I must always keep my lips parted. Literally,
God.
unless eating, I must always keep my lips parted. That's what it says.
And you said farted.
Can you read? Look at this. Look at this type. Can you read it? Read number 3.
Okay, let me see.
Don't read 4 and 5. Be surprised.
Okay. I must never show my disrespect, either verbally or silent. I must never close my arms and legs in front of my body or clench my fist. And unless eating, must always keep my lips parted, but it does look like farted.
Give me that back. It says farted. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Okay, number 4. I must be obedient completely and in all things. I must obey immediately and without question or comment. Number 5. I must always be quiet when locked in my cell. Number 6. I must remember and obey any additional rules told to me.
Damn.
I must understand that any disobedience, any pain, trouble, or annoyances caused by me to my master will be grounds for punishment.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Like I said, that Leonard Lake kept basically a diary. Mm-hmm. And that whole diary was just full of sexual fantasies that he had for his sex slaves, and that he planned to keep his bunker like after the nuclear holocaust. Like his plan was to keep like basically repopulate the world after the nuclear holocaust with his sex slaves.
That is one egotistical, twisted son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But also, I hate how people call them sex slaves. Because I get that that's what they are, but like, in the BDSM world, that's what some people like to be, but these people are
not by
forced.
Choice. Yeah.
You know, and it's like, no, they're victims.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, like, I mean...
No, that's true. I like that. In Leonard's stupid-ass diary, he also said, God meant women for cooking, cleaning house, and sex. And when they are not in use, they should be locked up.
Oh? So they had to clean their house, too?
No, remember they had to keep their little piss pot organized. It's part of the rules.
I know, but, like, his house, did they have to clean
I don't
that,
know.
too?
I don't know. Quit asking me hard questions. Another thing that stupid-ass Leonard wrote in his thing was, if you love something, let it go. If it doesn't come back, hunt it down and kill it.
I was going to say, did he think he wrote this? But, okay, he did. He twisted it.
Yeah. And so they say, like, nobody really actually knows how many people Leonard Lake may have killed in his lifetime. Because they think that his brother, Donald, was his first victim.
Damn,
because, like I said...
goes balls to the walls.
Yeah, well, because, like I said, his mom reported Donald missing because he was supposed to go see Leonard, and he never came back. And so she was like, what the fuck? Where's Donald? And she actually said, like, told police that she thought that maybe Leonard had something to do with it, because she said that Leonard once told her the world would be better off without Don.
Okay, wait. Their mother?
Mm-hmm. They had a mother. They just went to live with their maternal grandmother because their parents separated.
Okay.
Charles and Leonard's, they had this rampage, basically, of serial murders. And how it came to an end was, imagine that, Ing getting busted for...
shoplifting.
Mm-hmm. So it was June 2nd of 1985, and he had Charles Ng had gone to the hardware store because a vise that they were using on one of their victims broke. And so he went to the hardware store to, let me just go pick up another vise.
What's a vise?
Like a, I don't know.
I thought you meant device, but you were just cool.
No, like a vice grip. Have you ever heard of that? You've never heard of a vice grip?
I mean, I've heard of it, but I still have no idea. Oh, okay.
It's almost like a C-clamp, but not.
Yeah. Like you use it during woodworking and stuff.
Yeah.
Like to hold things together.
Yeah.
When you're gluing it.
Yeah, or like bodies and stuff.
Yeah, that is crazy that they fucking use that on humans.
Yeah. So he went to the Ace Hardware. No, I don't know where he went to get a vise, and the store clerk noticed that he was stealing it, and so he was like, he called the police and was like, "Hey, this guy stole it," and Charles Ng was able to escape on foot. Well, when he got home, Lake was like, "The fuck, you didn't pay for this? Like, you're gonna, what the fuck, dude? You know, I mean, even murderers have morals." And so
no, he just knew
that he was going to get busted.
Yeah.
So Leonard Lake went back to the store to pay for it.
Oh,
to be
God.
Like, hey.
You never do that.
Yeah, sorry about my friend. I mean, this kid is not, Charles Ng is not a 5-year-old that stole a piece of gum and you make him go give it back.
Yes, that is completely different. But you're not like,
yes,
hey, my friend took this.
Yes. So by the time Leonard Lake got there to do that, of course, the police were there. And so they were like, let me see your ID. You know, let's figure this out. So when he gives officers his driver's license, it says that he is Robin Stapley from San Diego. And they're like, you don't look anything like Robin. And come to find out, Robin Stapley was reported missing several weeks ago by his family.
Wow.
So police are like, we're going to search your vehicle. So in the trunk of the vehicle, they found a gun that had a silencer on it. And so they were like, okay, we're arresting you. Like, you've got shit you're not supposed to have. This is not who you are. Like, something's shitty. Something's going on here. And so when they arrested him, they fingerprinted him and were able to figure out, you know, who he was. So while he was in custody, awaiting his arraignment, he was in his cell and he asked the officers for some water, and he swallowed cyanide pills that he had sewn into his clothes, like into like a little pouch in his clothes, and he died 4 days later.
Wow.
So never faced a second of prosecution for this. So,
I hate on movies when they do that.
I know.
Even more.
In real life?
Yes.
So the license plate that was on Leonard Lake's vehicle was actually registered to him, but the vehicle that it was on wasn't what the license plate was registered to. That was actually registered to Paul Costner, who had disappeared in November of 1984.
Damn.
So the registration to the tag that was correct led them to the property where the little cabin with the dungeon is.
Yeah.
So there they found Stapley's truck and another victim's car behind the cabin.
Wow.
And so they were like, okay, we're going to start digging. So they found on the property a makeshift burial site. And so they dug up roughly 40 pounds of burned and crushed human bones.
40 pounds?
Of like bone fragments. And they said that like what they could put together, it was from a minimum of 11 bodies.
Wow. All I can picture is like the catacombs, how all those bones and skeleton, like the, like, but burned and charred.
All I can picture is Stephen Avery.
Oh my God. Well, when they said they had the stuff on the property, the cars, I wanted to be like, who is he, making a murderer?
Yeah. So the other thing that they found was a hand-drawn map of the property that was called, like on the map, treasure map.
Oh, God.
The treasure map took them to 2 5-gallon buckets that were buried. One had envelopes with the names and IDs of the victims, which, based on that envelope with the number of IDs and stuff that they found, it suggests that the number of victims might be as high as 25.
Holy fuck.
In the other bucket was Leonard Lake's handwritten diaries from 1983 and 1984.
Wow.
And
talk about a fucking time capsule.
Yes. And 2 videotapes, which I told you that you can see, documenting the torture of 2 of their victims.
Wow. In
one of the tapes, Charles Ng is seen telling a victim by the name of Brenda O'Connor. So Charles says, this is his quote, "You can cry and stuff like the rest of them, but it won't do any good. We're pretty cold-hearted, so to speak." And then in, like, the other video, the victim, Deborah Dubbs, like, she's shown being beaten so severely in this video that they're like, there's absolutely no way that she could survive from that beating.
No.
And then
all I'm thinking about, I'm sorry, is, like, how cold those scissors must have felt to them.
Oh, God. See, I can't have those kind of details in my head.
Well, I'm empathetic, I guess, to a fault. But, like, bless their hearts. And I hope they are at rest.
Me too. While they're, the police are doing all this investigating and stuff, the car that Leonard Lake was driving when he was arrested was a Honda Prelude. Okay.
Oh, God, I used to love a Prelude.
That's the one that the car wasn't registered to him, but the license plate was.
Yeah.
And the car, remember, was registered to Paul Costner. I know this is a lot of names, and I'm sorry. You don't have to keep up with them.
He's Kevin's cousin.
Sure. Okay, so Paul Costner was a car salesman in San Francisco. And as they did some more digging, they realized that on November 5th, 1984, Costner took a man on a test drive to sell him a Prelude.
Oh, no.
And that's when he never came back. And yeah. And the guy that he took on the test drive matched Leonard Lake's description. So, like I said, they found all the videos and video equipment and all of that. They even called his dungeon like a cinder block torture chamber. And again, that just reminded me so much of the Toy Box Killer.
Yeah.
Some of that video equipment was traced to Harvey Dubbs. Okay. So you've heard that last name already in the story. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Harvey Dubbs lived in San Francisco. And on July 25th, 1984, he disappeared with his wife and his son.
No.
So the videotapes showed a lot of what they're calling, like, quote unquote home movies, basically, of women who were hogtied, like a bunch of just almost like orgy type things that wasn't consensual.
Wow.
Young girls, they said that their faces, one of the articles said their faces contorted in hideous grimace.
Oh, God.
As they're forced to partake in oral sex and torture.
No, bless them.
So, like I said, one of the tapes, I said this earlier, had Debbie Dubbs, who was, Harvey's wife. That's the one that they said she was being beaten so much, yeah. So, on that tape is when you could see Brenda O'Connor being sexually abused by Leonard Lake and Charles Ng. So, Brenda O'Connor and her husband Lonnie and their son were neighbors to them. They said that Brenda never trusted Leonard Lake and that he called himself Gunner, because remember, that's what his driver's license was, because he stole that poor guy's thing. Brenda had told people around town that she had seen Leonard burying a body in the woods.
What?
But instead of telling police, her husband, Lonnie, invited their friend named Robin Stapley to stay with them for added protection.
Oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm. Remember that name?
Mm-hmm. He got caught underneath that name.
Yep. And so none of the 4 of them have been seen since May of 1985.
Fuck. Mm-hmm. Call the police.
Yep. So, again, Brenda was on the tape, and on the tape, she was tied to a chair, of course, pleading for her life, pleading for the life of her husband and her son and her friend Robin Stapley.
Oh my gosh.
in the video, too, I believe it shows maybe the family watching. Because it says others watching horror. So I don't know if that's other, like, victims that were in the room, or if it's he actually made her husband and friend and son watch.
Son? Oh, no.
I don't know how old her son was, but I'm pretty sure that the Dub's son was like an infant. Mm-hmm.
And they killed him?
Yeah, some stuff said that they would kill the husbands and the child immediately, and then keep the women as, as, well, now I don't want to say sex slaves, but whatever.
Forced.
Yeah, forced sex slaves. Yeah, maybe we should say that. But in the case of Brenda, I'm not sure because how it says others watching horror. I'm not sure who was watching.
Gosh. Why are they're so twisted?
I know. So in the video too, Charles unties her from the chair. She had to completely strip naked. And then he put leg irons on her. And then they both raped her.
No.
Yeah. On the tape, you could hear Leonard Lake saying, "By cooperating with us, that means you will stay here as a prisoner. You will work for us, you will wash for us, you will fuck for us. Or you can say no, in which case we'll tie you to a bed, we'll rape you, and then we'll take you outside and shoot you. Your choice."
Wow.
So some estimations are that 21 people have died. Some are that it's, that first kind of pile of bones that they found, they were really only linked to 11 people, but some stuff says 15. I've even seen 35, which, I think that sometimes the numbers for serial killers grow pretty quickly as the story gets older and older, so I'm not really sure exactly. My guess is it's probably closer to that 25, but what do I know? I didn't investigate. But
you have to think, too, that if they kill the children and stuff, their bones are smaller and they might be somewhere else. I don't know. That's crazy because I don't know.
One thing, though, says that veteran homicide detectives had such a hard time with these videos and just like the screams of the victims being raped and sodomized. And it said that the cries of the children in the background were really caused a lot of stress to the detectives, which I cannot even imagine. So again, that's why I think that maybe in the case of Brenda, her child and her husband were forced to watch.
Oh my gosh.
They just talk about how like the females were basically just, this article, I'm just going to kind of quote it. It says that female captives were seen withering on the floor, humiliated in front of other male and female captives. Still photographs showed naked young girls ranging from age 12 to early 20s, forced to engage in kinky sex trysts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 6 women were identified from the tapes that were actually found alive.
What?
15 more are still missing to this day.
No.
Also, the kids and the male captives were either buried or cremated in an incinerator that was found just kind of like adjacent to the dungeon.
Wow. Whoa.
Yeah. So Kathleen Allen was a San Jose high school student. She was working part-time. She met Lake and... Sorry, this one article, I have to think about who the other person is every time because it's like, this says, and his Asian partner.
What?
And this one says, his Oriental accomplice.
What the fuck?
I know. I wish I would have looked to see what year this was written in because what the fuck? Let's change the language.
Yes.
Who the fuck says that anymore?
No.
He has a name, first of all.
Yeah. Well, he has several.
He does.
He likes to go by Kai Tat.
He doesn't.
He does.
Okay. Okay, so Kathleen Allen met Leonard Lake and Charles Ng through her friend named Mike Carroll. And it says that Mike Carroll was an ex-con, but I don't know, like, why that's important. But, I mean, give them guy a second chance.
Well, whoever is writing this is very judgy.
Yes, yes. Okay. So, Mike Carroll was very sadistic and liked to watch people die. He and Charles were cellmates at Leavenworth.
Well, that's why they said it. Kerri, you always make me jump on people, and then you like, well, this is blah, blah, blah. I don't know why they had to say he was an ex-con.
Okay.
They shared a cell.
Okay. So as the police are like looking around the area and all, I told you they found that like 40 plus pounds. One article said 50, but of the human remains. Mm-hmm. They also found a lot of jewelry, rotted clothing, and then they found a rotted corpse. So I guess that one that they hadn't burned or.
Gosh.
And it was identified as Randy Jacobson. So Randy was a 34-year-old who vanished in October of 1984 after Leonard Lake had answered an ad that Randy had placed in the newspaper to sell his van. So Randy was like an unemployed drifter.
Damn.
In addition to like the little families that had been kidnapped and the women who were forced to be sex slaves, there were also 2 men who are gay that were also victims in the same way. And so one of them was Donald Galletti. He was 38. He was actually a disc jockey in San Francisco that he had answered an ad in a sex tabloidy magazine for free oral sex. Like the article said free oral sex by an Asian male.
So that was like back pages before back pages.
Yeah. But see, what's weird though is that he was just found shot 3 times in his house. But the roommate later said that, like, identified Charles Ng as who killed him.
He might have been like the first that Charles did. So Charles didn't want Leonard to know, maybe.
Maybe. Terry Parker was like a fill-in kind of coroner at the time when all this was happening. And he said, this is his quote, "When we started digging, we didn't have a clue what we were getting into. But more and more evidence kept turning up. A bone here, a shoe there, an entire body in a ditch. It got to the point where you were thinking, am I walking on someone's remains now?
Oh my gosh.
There could be more under every rock. How much longer could this go on?"
Wow. I wonder what's there today.
I know. Police think that, the victim toll, again, of course, it just kept growing and growing and growing, but that they uncovered the body parts of 26 people.
Wow.
And then, so the district attorney's office released 15 of 21 photographs to the news media to try to identify the bodies.
Gosh. Whoa.
So once Leonard Lake had been arrested, I'm not really sure how Charles Ng found out that he was arrested, but Charles Ng got the hell out of Dodge. And he fled to Alberta, Canada. That's where his sister lived. And he lived there for a little while. But of course, his thievery got him again.
Oh, gosh.
So he was arrested after he shot a security guard named Sean Doyle in the hand while resisting arrest for stealing a can of salmon.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, go fish.
Literally.
Yeah.
I know. He was charged and convicted of shoplifting, assault with a weapon, and possession of a concealed firearm, and he was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison. So after he served his sentence, he was pending extradition to California. Well, that is just the beginning to a very long legal battle, which I'm just going to kind of touch on. There's way more to it than what I'm going into. But Canada, because Canada doesn't have a death penalty, he was like, you'll be violating the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms if they let him be extradited to California, where he would be facing a capital murder charge and could potentially receive the death penalty. So he was petitioning the Alberta Court of Appeal and all of that, and it was all denied. So in 1991, the Supreme Court of Canada ruled against him too, and he was extradited back to California. So he was indicted on 12 counts of first-degree murder because, remember, Leonard Lake took the cyanide. He's dead and gone. They had a change in venue. He sued the state for his time in Folsom Prison because he said that...
Damn, he was in Folsom Prison?
Yeah. He sued the state because for being temporarily detained there. Because while he was there, he was found hiding maps, fake IDs, and just other, like, paraphernalia to help him escape.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. He filed challenges against 4 of the judges assigned to his case.
Oh, gosh.
He had so many complaints, like stuff like the strength of his eyeglasses, the temperature of his food, his right to practice origami in his jail cell.
What?
He went through 10 attorneys. He ended up filing a malpractice suit against a few of his attorneys citing incompetent representation. He ended up delaying the trial another year because he decided he was going to represent himself.
Good Lord.
It was 6 years after his extradition that the trials finally began. October 1988. Wow. October 1998. So remember, they had all this video evidence of him being in it, being like, we're cold-blooded. In one of the videos, it showed him like cutting a girl's bra strap and, all that. And so it's like, they had him in the videos. But basically, he was saying that he was a victim of Leonard Lake's and that he did it, because he had to and he wasn't blah, 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 blah.
Right.
There was some psych and, involvement, and they said that he had dependent personality disorder and that's why he was trying to just please Leonard Lake and that he didn't really want to do it. They had some prison guards and sheriff's deputies talking about that he was this model prisoner.
That had paraphernalia in his...
Mm-hmm. And then, they had 4 people that served with him in the Marine Corps be like, oh, he was quiet and well-behaved. His parents testified being like, he had such a troubled childhood. We're so sorry for his behavior.
Oh, gosh.
But then, so, Charles Ng insisted that he take the stand in his own defense. So, by doing that, the prosecutors were able to bring in some evidence that they couldn't bring in without him being on the stand.
You know why? Because egotistical people always fuck themselves.
So, one of the things that they got to bring to trial was a picture of Charles Ng standing in his cell. And in that picture, you can see all of these sketches behind him on the wall. Again, so the drawings were of the victims and, just basically drawings of everything that he and Leonard Lake had done.
Like his own porn.
Right. And so when he was on the stand, his answer to that was that it was satire, basically, to the allegations, to show how, his quote, to show how ludicrous this sort of thing is.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And, so one of the drawings showed a man who was Asian cooking a baby in a wok.
What?
And on that picture, it had the phrase, "Daddy died, mommy cried, baby fried."
Holy fuck. Oh gosh. I have chills from that.
Yeah.
That is... Oh, that's...
Yeah, and then also in one of the videos, the prosecutor asked him, played some of the videos to ask him what he meant by when he said... So one of the videos, he said, "You can cry and stuff like the rest of them, but it won't do you no good." And then they were like, "What do you mean by the rest of them?" And he was like, "There's no rest of them. I was just trying to project that seriousness so she wouldn't resist." What the fuck? So he was convicted of 11 of the 12 homicides, 6 men, 3 women, and 2 male infants. The jurors deadlocked on the 12th charge, and I'm not sure, who that was.
Yeah.
Who that last one was. But he was sentenced to death. So the presiding judge completely rejected the motion to reduce the sentence that the jury, because the jury convicted him to death. And so the judge was like, "I'm not changing that."
Yeah.
The judge said Mr. Ng was not under any duress, nor does the evidence support that he was under the domination of Leonard Lake. And so just the shenanigans around the trial and how long it took and how many attorneys he went through and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
He cost California approximately $20 million.
Whoa.
And he is currently still on death row at San Quentin. And at the time, it was the most expensive trial in state's history.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And that was 1998. So that's post OJ.
Holy fuck.
Let that sink in.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. So I know that one was long, but that is the story of Charles Ng and Leonard Lake.
Also known as...
Chicka Chicka Wawa.
Don't mess me up when I'm saying his name.
Okay. Kachi. Tai Chi.
Kai Tat. That was...
It's weird how heavy it was. Like, almost a heavy like the Toy Box Killer, but not as heavy, but as heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it didn't have the details.
Yeah. I'm actually glad it didn't.
Yeah, but I think to me, it just brought back so many memories of that story, too.
Yes.
That's why it's like, God, it's fucking heavy.
Yeah.
And the fact that Leonard fucking took the easy way out and took those cyanide pills, and the fact that Charles Ng just cost so much fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's part of why, whether you agree with the death penalty morally or not, I don't care. My stance is that death penalty cases cost the state so much more money with the number of appeals and all of that, and the time and all of these things, that is why I'm like, this is fucking stupid. How much money would they have saved on his case not trying to extradite him? If they would have just taken the death penalty off of it, there wouldn't have been all of that time with him in Canada.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's still alive.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't work.
20 years, I almost said 10 years. 20 years later and he's still alive.
Yeah. And $20 million later. Well, even more than that now.
Yeah.
But,
But again, I know we've talked about this, and it was an article I read years ago, and so the numbers may be different now, but it costs less to convict and house and feed and provide medical care to an inmate for the rest of their lives. It costs less than it does to try someone in a capital case for a death penalty case and get to the point of execution.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's like, that's where I kind of am about it, taking the moral argument out of it.
Yeah.
And just looking at it in that way, and it's like, damn.
Well, and you know what makes me mad, too? Is that the criminal still gets to fuck over the government and the citizens and all of this because he's staying alive and it's not on him.
Yeah.
And it's... Oh. And the thing about Leonard doing the cyanide, one, he probably learned that in the military because that's what they would do for, like, spies and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
when you get caught. Before you talk, you do that. But also, of course he took the coward's way out because cowards are the people who are sadistic and egotistical and all of that.
Yeah.
And he could not ever endure the torture that he put on other people.
That's true.
And so he's like, oh, shit. And goodbye.
Yeah.
Boy, bye. Like, that was a good one to get my blood boiling.
It's a good one when Donna's lit. Yeah. My story definitely was a lot of names. Like, I know it was hard to keep up with. But don't get lost in the names.
Yeah.
I always want to recognize the victims and say their names and all of that. But it does make the stories hard to follow sometimes. So
yeah.
Try not to get lost in the names when you're listening,
Yeah. Okay.
Are you ready for it?
Sometimes you just have to put your big girl panties on and do shit yourself.
Uh-oh.
Because I have not gotten a haunted bridge story yet for sinister sightings. So I went out and I found myself one.
I hope you get like 8 haunted bridge stories after this.
Oh, me too. I love that. I think because I'm scared of bridges.
Yeah.
But it's mainly the water underneath them.
Right.
And the bodies in that water.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay. You're going to be like, what? When I tell you where this is.
Here.
Why do you always have to guess?
Am I right?
No.
Oh.
I fooled you. Okay. Sorry.
Baton Rouge.
Stop guessing.
Okay.
It's called Old Alton Bridge.
Georgia.
No. Okay. It's an old wooden bridge. And like ours with the metal on top, which, I mean, most old bridges have, it's like a red, rusty kind of color, like a burnt, imagery. And it's in the southwest part of Denton, Texas.
Oh.
Okay, so Old Alton Bridge is in Denton. It was constructed in 1884, and it served as a connection between Louisville and Alton. Obviously named for the town of Alton. And it was an old community surrounding the bridge, and it was abandoned due to poor water quality.
Ugh.
Yeah.
In 1854?
1884.
You know that had to be some bad fucking water. Then.
Right. And I found something, I didn't write it down, but I'm remembering. Probably wrong. But they only had one doctor, and he didn't even live in the town. He would come. So a lot of the people who were sick, they died before he came.
Damn.
Yeah. Crazy.
I am not cut out for that kind of time.
No.
I need air conditioning.
Yes.
Which I have learned the past 4 days because the air has been out at work for the past 4 days.
Ugh.
I need medical care. I need air conditioner.
Yeah.
And running water. And a toilet inside.
God. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, there's an early legend and then a later legend.
Okay.
We're going to focus on the later one, but I'm going to tell you the early one. So, in the early 1860s, as the Civil War raged, the Copper Canyon Cowboys, which were like cowboys from Copper Canyon.
Clever.
Huh. I feel like they thought they were badasses and they were bad people.
Yeah. They were the OG gangs.
Yeah. Someone's going to be like, no, they were actually this. I don't know. I didn't look them up. But
you just remember from that history class you fell asleep in college?
Yes. Okay. So they took it upon themselves to punish a slave who was a goat herder. And his name was Jack Kendall. And it said for some offense which has been lost to history. They also fell asleep during that class. They tied one end of the rope around his neck and the other around a tree limb.
No.
And it was of a large oak tree which was growing next to where the bridge would be built.
Okay.
Like they didn't know it at the time.
Yeah.
So they drug him up to the top of the creek bank and threw him out toward the water. It was a long fall, but the rope they used was thin, and it was like too thin for
his weight.
And so it basically severed his head because when he hit it, it was so thin, it was almost like wire.
Oh, not what I thought. Where I thought you were going with that.
Yeah, no, and severed his head. Yeah. So his body dropped into the creek, his head's
flapping in the wind. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's where that ends. But then some take it to a whole nother level. They say that the slavers, which would be the Copper Canyon Cowboys, CCC. Damn, there was a CCC in your story. Just saying. So they say those cowboys, slavers, whatever, they watched in horror as the headless body rose from the creek bed mud, animated by voodoo, and ripped the head off of a nearby goat and placed it on his own.
Oh, fuck.
Like, on his own body.
Yeah.
And his head was still hanging in the noose. That's, you know, like how you said, stories just kind of go on, but...
Yeah, because that didn't fucking happen.
I mean, I don't know.
He didn't take the head off of a goose and then put it on his head.
A goat.
I know.
But a goose, that would be funny. That would be a little, like... I mean, it wouldn't be funny, but you know what I mean. Imagery-wise.
Yeah. Paints a picture.
Yes. So, the nickname for this bridge is Goatman's Bridge.
Okay.
So, the goat head...
Yeah.
Being put on, that makes sense now. Totally buried the lead. Sorry about that. I was just happy it was a fucking bridge. I'm sorry. Usually I title my pages, but I did not title this one. And so I fucked it up. I didn't write it down. Okay. So, according to another legend, and this one's like later after the bridge is built, an African-American man named Oscar Washburn, he was an entrepreneur because he and his family tended a goat farm. And, I mean, it was close to the bridge. Like, it was right after the bridge. And there were only a few people that lived there. You know, so it was kind of like a destination. Mm-hmm. And he became well known and respected because he had quality meat. He had all the milk, all the good cheese, and the hides from the goats. So everyone called him the Goatman, like, go and see the Goatman.
Yeah.
So one day, he hung a sign on that old Alton Bridge and said, "This way to the Goatman." Well, some local KKK members, their little dicks didn't get hard, and they were like, "This man is making more than us. This man thinks he's something."
Fuck them.
Mm-hmm. And so they're like, "Oh, yeah, we're going to get him." Because, you know, weasels, all of them. So they got together, plotted this whole shit. So one night in the late 1930s, there was like a mob of the KKK. They stormed his house, dragged him out of the house. And like I said, it was close to the bridge. They get there and there's a noose hanging. Like, they have the rope. Yeah. So he's like screaming, you know, pleading for his life because he's like an upstanding citizen.
My stomach hurts.
Yes. So they put the rope over his head, on his neck, tightened the noose, and just flung him over the side of the bridge. Oh my God. But they didn't hear anything. And so they were like, looked, and nothing was on the noose and no movement in the water. He just vanished.
What?
Yeah. So that pissed them off even more. So they go search in the woods. They're like, where the fuck is he? Then they're like, okay, we're going to draw him out. So they go to his house, set it on fire, barricade his wife and children, and they're screaming, they're shrieking because they're
my God
burning. And they're like, he's going to come running when he hears them screaming.
Yeah.
But he never showed up. And they died.
No. Oh my God.
Yes. And the KKK went about their life, you know.
Fuck.
Yeah. So, from that story, you can get Goatman. They say if you knock on the steel part of the bridge 3 times at midnight, that you'll see the Goatman on the other side of the bridge. And it's not a long, a super long bridge.
Yeah.
They also say if you turn your car lights off and drive over the bridge, you'll see him too. And if you honk 3 times, he can be summoned as well. They say his presence is preceded by the stench of decaying flesh. One, I don't know what that smells like, but stench, no bueno. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking, is it supposed to be his or is it his family's?
Oh, gosh, I didn't think about that. I was just thinking that sounds like a demon almost. and he's not.
Yeah.
He's poor unfortunate soul.
It's sad.
But true. Okay, so a website called Only in Your State, it mentions that since 1967, police have found tons of abandoned cars and investigated a number of missing persons cases where their last known location was that bridge.
What? Yeah.
So after all these cars that were left there, a new bridge was constructed with like cement. And sorry, I'm talking about Texas and I just got real country. So, like a new bypass.
Yeah.
But they kept that bridge. Now it's like a historical landmark.
Yeah.
But it's closed off to cars now because of the new bridge. But you can still walk across it. So some of the reports say they see like a ghostly apparition herding goats over the bridge.
Oh, herding. I thought you said hurting, like Hurting.
No,
I was like, why would you hurt them?
Yeah, no, herding.
Gotcha.
Others say they have seen an apparition staring at them, holding a goat head under each arm.
Like, why would he be holding a goat head?
I have no idea. Stranger stories include people seeing a creature that resembles half goat, half man. Okay? They say that you can hear the sounds of horse hooves on the bridge because that's what it was originally built for, obviously, back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have, like, the Model T going across it in 1984.
It was 1884.
Sorry, 1884.
They say that you can hear, like, splashing in the creek below, not just, like, a ripple kind of thing. It's, like...
something dropping.
Yeah. Which, again, I mean, could be someone dropping something, but I don't think they see any movement. So that's what's, like...
yeah.
Oh, wait, a splash. So other people say they heard or hear maniacal laughter or an inhuman-like growling coming from the woods. They also see mysterious lights in the area, and people have had their car doors lock on their own. And again, a lot of vehicles break down there.
Yeah.
They say, especially on Halloween, again, this is a legend, you know, but they say on Halloween, if you honk your horn twice, you would see his glowing eyes, and they're like red.
Ooh, like a thing.
Mm-hmm. Another spirit has been seen there, and it's a woman, and they say she wanders the area allegedly searching for her lost babies, which could be his wife.
Oh.
Okay, again, people being touched, grabbed, and having rocks thrown at them. I don't know if your little past self is a ghost there, throwing rocks at people, but those are little shitheads.
I never threw a rock at a person.
I'm sorry, at a moving vehicle.
Well, there's no moving vehicles on this bridge anymore.
Well, it could have been.
Not now.
Yeah, it's worse. It's people.
Yeah, I never threw anything at a person.
You've moved up. Your past self's moved up. The bridge isn't the only place that is haunted. It's the surrounding woods, too. And another reason they say that it's Goatman's bridge, they say that from the legend, people were drawn there because of the torment and the death and all that. And, of course, when people think of, like, dark magic and stuff, they think, oh, this place has all this energy, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So, they say a lot of Satanists go to the woods, go to the bridge, and they perform rituals, and they've opened a portal for a hellspawn demon, which would be the half man, half goat. And though, if that is true, that would make sense with the decaying flesh, because I did say it, that does sound like a demon.
Yeah.
Like throughout all the haunted houses and stuff that we've talked about.
Yeah.
Like rotted flesh, I think is what they say, but same.
Dang, I said rotted flesh in my story.
Oh, yeah.
Rotted body.
But still. Anyway, so, I mean, could be. Who knows? Okay, so they also say they had a lot of, like, booby traps and stuff where they wouldn't want people to come into their, like, altar and stuff like that. So they'd have booby traps, which have hurt people, blah, 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 blah. Just blah, blah, blah over the hurt people.
Details.
People who live around that forest, they say that they've seen figures dressed in black with white candles crossing the bridge into the forest. So they say, I mean, it becomes more logical that Goatman is something evil that people have conjured up.
Yeah.
And they're using that legend to, like, have spawned that idea.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Goatman's Bridge, this is what this demon's going to take form.
Yeah.
So, inside the woods is basically the remnants of the city of Alton. Because once the bad water and all that happened, it was basically abandoned.
Right.
So, there's an old asylum.
Ooh.
An old church. And then they say some remains of the Goatman's house. But it was burnt down in freaking,
right,
long time ago. Like,
when it was all made of wood.
Yeah, there is no way. I mean, maybe deep down in there, like, there's a sliver.
Yeah.
But come on.
Yeah.
So, hikers have gone to these woods and stuff, and they've been pushed, scratched, heard screams and moans, and they said malicious laughter. And this one I had to write. They said some have even reported seeing old Goaty on a night trip.
Damn.
Like, okay. Some people have said they have been picked up and flung 20 feet in the air in the forest from unseen forces. Again, they've said they've seen red glowing eyes, and it's like in the shrubbery, but kind of floating on their own. Some people have said they've been bitten and scratched, like I said. Also, when you're on the bridge, aggression can be felt, and in the surrounding forest. That aggression will come up in a minute, too. Okay. But there was one story, and this guy said that he and his friend heard a voice on the bridge. He ran off the bridge while his friend stayed on. He then reportedly watched his friend get dragged toward the railing of the bridge and flipped into the water below.
Damn.
Yeah. So, Goatman has thrown someone off the bridge. Investigators who are at the bridge, they get an EVP of Steve a lot. So, I don't know where that comes in, but like multiple people have gotten that EVP.
Maybe your dad went to visit it.
Maybe. Oh, gosh. He did love goats, so.
True. Y'all had them.
Mm-hmm. There's been a growling voice that says, "Get off my bridge."
Is it a troll?
Right. I wanted to be like, well, Billy Goat Gruff
did
the bridge. I played a... Man.
We were in that together.
They typecasted me. I played a pig.
Me too!
Damn!
It was me, you, and...
Was it another fat person?
No.
Oh my God, really typecasted. At least I wasn't the only one. But yeah, so, I mean, there's lots of Goatman's bridges around and in the forest and stuff, so, like, everywhere. Okay, so one woman reported seeing an orange light that expanded into a long beam shooting straight into the air for several seconds before disappearing. And that repeated itself twice.
Was it a UFO?
Might have been. So then I watched a little documentary, it was like 5 minutes. I think it was like a student documentary. But they interviewed a guy, and his name was Anthony Fuentes. And he said they were at a party at Goatman's Bridge, which, you know what they were doing. Mm-hmm. He didn't say anything, but you know. they had music on their phones and stuff. And once they actually passed over the bridge to the other side, all of their electronics stopped.
What?
Yeah. Then I found a blog by Jenny Kopelek. And she said that she had visited the bridge before, but some years later, she visited the bridge with her good friend Denise. It was Halloween night at midnight. These people, they crazy. So they walked along the bridge, and she said for some reason she didn't want to be there because it's Halloween at midnight.
Right.
She said some of them felt so wrong. Then we proceeded. Like, obviously it didn't feel that wrong.
Follow your gut.
Yes. It always leads to a buffet.
Hopefully a breakfast buffet.
Ooh, the best.
I fucking love a breakfast buffet.
Yes. Oh, when they make your own omelet. Oh, that's the best part. Okay. Anyway, Kerri's wrong. I'm right. It's my story. Okay, so then they proceeded down the tunnel of trees. Once in the tunnel, she turned on a voice recorder. So they talked, asked, some questions. And then they heard a loud scream and someone telling them to leave. They heard it in real time, but actually captured it on a voice recorder. She said she wished that she still had this evidence, but it's been years, and so she doesn't have it. It's not in her possession, so she can't share it with them. Well, with us.
Yeah.
But she said she never went back after that. Like, she was like, no.
I'm good.
Even if it was like someone there, they're probably up to some shadiness.
Right.
Like, don't want to go back.
I wonder how they get, like, the EVPs and all that to work there, though, if whatever's there fucks up with the technology so much.
Yeah.
Like, how do they get those things to work then?
Right. Well, a lot of them have, like, backup stuff because batteries do drain and crap.
True.
So, I don't know. I mean, maybe they're only so strong. So, it's like, oh, I drained that one. That'll do.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? You want me to call one up?
Yes.
No, girl.
I'm just kidding. A ghost?
Mm-hmm.
Nah. Call up Zach.
What up, boo? Tell me, how that EVP work? And be like, girl, I'm shopping right now.
For me, a wedding ring?
No, it's probably from some dead person's finger. I would not want anything he bought. Be like,
till death do you part.
Damn. Oh my God, I'd be in his haunted museum after I died.
Well, you'd be eternal.
I thought you said a turtle.
That too.
Okay.
We are slow.
Damn. Okay. So I found another website called Ghost Hunting Texas. It's by April Slaughter. I wonder if that's her real name or her pen name. Because doing ghost hunting and stuff like Slaughter, either she was destined for it or she's just good at making up names. So she investigated the bridge with her husband and some other groups, including the Denton Area Paranormal Society. So she said that her and her husband unloaded their equipment when they arrived. They used EMF meters, and in theory, she can ask yes or no questions, and the meter will flash once or twice for yes, once for no. That night, Slaughter and her husband used the meter to contact a ghost, and it flashed yes when they asked if it was female. When they played the audio recorder back, they heard the voice of a woman crying, baby. And she said, we also heard something big on four legs, like a horse, running toward us on the bridge, but the noise would come right up to us and then just stop.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Then I found a forum called Unexplained Mysteries Forum, and it was this guy who wrote some stuff about it. So he says, I went on Halloween of this year, because again, Halloween's a big thing with this, obviously, but he didn't experience much. He was scared out of his mind, but he didn't see anything. He went back a second time with his brother, a friend from college, and another friend from UNT, which was another college. They brought a flashlight for each person, went in knowing what the legend was. No other cars in the, no other cars were there. It was just them. They said they hopped on the gate and only walked about 30 steps before something rustled in the bush and scared the hell out of them.
A raccoon.
Right? He said, we jumped and held our flashlights close to the bush, and his brother said something big and brown ran away after we shined our lights on it. And he said, I still believe it was probably an animal, but it was a big one and not a good way to start off the night. So he said they walked another 5 steps before they heard footsteps, not of any animal. And he said they're all very outdoorsy and hunt a lot, so they would know the difference. He said they were obviously of a human. The problem is nowhere they shine lights they could find the source of the steps. Okay. He said what scared him the most was that you could hear the steps were the deliberate heel-toe step, and it wasn't far from them. They thought it was another person there, and so they kind of just stood and yelling and trying to be tough to be get the fuck out. So after they stopped yelling, not even a second after they stopped yelling, one of his friends that he rode with, his truck got hit with a rock. Your ghost. Then a few other rocks were thrown, so they went a different direction then,
trying to get away from the fire.
Yeah. Literally, could not see anything, though, Then they were fuck this. They threw rocks at us. We're going back. We're going to find these fuckers. He said they walked the path across the bridge, and they heard a grunt while they were walking. And then they heard that same heel-toe footsteps everywhere they fucking went. Still couldn't see anything. All shining lights in different ways. Different directions.
Yeah.
Couldn't see anything. So he was like, look, this is way too weird. We're hearing way too much shit. Rocks are being thrown.
Yeah. Somebody could get hurt.
Yeah. They'll put your eye out. But they left because they couldn't find anything. And they were like, let's go. One, who wants their truck dinged by rocks?
Not me.
Not me. Okay, found another blog about Goatman's Bridge. There's lots of little things, not just a whole big thing. I'm doing this because of me. I wanted a haunted bridge.
Oh, Lord.
It's my podcast. I'll cry if I want to. All right, so this was a guy, and he interviewed his father and his cousin because, they lived in the area, blah, blah, blah. So his father told him a story that matches with many of the happenings around the bridge, especially in the time of the 70s when he grew up. He had a high school friend who had convinced his girlfriend to go visit the bridge with him one night. And his dad was like, look, I ain't being a third wheel, especially on a makeout sesh. That's what you're going to go do. The next day, his father learned that they had not come back. A few days later, the local police found the car on the side of the street, abandoned and tore up with no signs of life in it. The couple has never been found, and the only explanation offered is the same as all the other cases. We don't know.
Yeah.
Could be the Goatman,
And that's how it always is.
The police don't say that, but that's what the local people do.
Right.
Okay, so the other story is about his cousin Nathaniel. He visited the bridge last summer. He didn't encounter anything abnormal on the bridge, but as soon as he crossed the bridge, him and his friends heard strange noises. And then when they headed back to the bridge, they became lost. And they thought they heard laughter in the woods at times. The temperature would drop dramatically and chill them. They made it back to the car eventually. And after reviewing some of the photos they took in the woods, they saw a lot of colored mist and odd shapes that resembled a man behind them in almost every picture, seeming to hold on to something. According to the legend, this may be him holding on to the goat heads. I mean, obviously not.
Yeah.
Like the goat head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, could you imagine seeing the pictures and being like, oh, fuck. So he said recently he visited the bridge himself to see what all the buzz was about. Because, of course, when you hear this, you just say, I gotta go.
Yeah.
They kept their lights on as they crossed over the new bridge that was only a few feet away. They got out, continued to cross the bridge, and looked over, and even went into the woods. He said, you definitely feel uncomfortable on the bridge. You get chills. It was very dark, so they didn't see anything, but they did feel a presence and heard some disturbing noises. When they reviewed the pictures on the way back home, you know, digital cameras and shit, the other one had to get processed.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
No.
Even the 1 hour shit.
Right? Oh my God, that was the worst. Anyway, before I get off on that tangent, they said that they saw orbs and a little girl sitting on a stump, but like the shadowy figure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a black-eyed kid?
No. Also, I must note that my transmission on my truck fell and totaled his truck on the way back home.
What? It just fell the fuck out?
Well, you know how they say like your transmission drops or whatever. You've never heard that?
No.
Apparently we've had shitty cars.
Have you met me? So have I.
True.
Really shitty cars.
True. He said luckily they were in a lit area and not on a dark country road somewhere.
Oh God. Could you imagine?
Oh my God. No.
Pre-cell phones too? Or no?
Right. Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't guess we knew what year this was, huh?
Yeah, I mean, if they had digital cameras, they probably had... Well, never mind. I don't know. So, because of all of this, like all of these stories, the legends, it's been popular with some paranormal peeps.
Yeah.
And it also got BuzzFeed Unsolved, their supernatural thing. And it's the one that Jessica says, that's who we are. I'm Ryan, who believes in the ghost.
Yeah.
And you're Shane, and you're like, what up? Hey, demon, it's your boy. That's who you are. So they went. Ryan was scared out of his mind. Shane was like, what up, demon? Come on, Goatman. You know?
Yeah.
Whatever. And they did a Ouija board session, and nothing really came from it. Like, they really didn't get anything. Ryan felt heavy. You? Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
He felt stuff, you know, and was scared. Shane was like, nah, whatever.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. And one time he was like, Goatman, come and get me. If you, blah, blah, blah. If you don't come, they're going to rename this bridge. They're going to rename it Shane and Ryan's Bridge. And he didn't come. So, I mean, I guess I should change my story to Shane and Ryan's Bridge.
There you go.
But, like in all my stories, if I can find my bedazzled boo.
I was just about to ask when you said that about like all the different people coming, was your boo one of them?
Oh, yeah. So, if you don't know Ghost Adventures, and he's really not my boo, we have a love-hate relationship. But anyway, Zach, he was interviewing some local women who are part of a local paranormal group. And Belinda said one evening her and a group of friends witnessed something really disturbing in the forest. They were walking down the trail and she had an uneasy feeling about it. And so she said, look, I'm going to stay by the fence. Y'all go. I'll just, be here. She said that she heard a bunch of rustling behind her. And so she was like, oh shit, I know something's there. And so she was terrified, in a panic. She took a photo of what she felt this presence was. And in the picture appeared a black cloaked figure.
Like a shadow person, I wonder?
I don't know. She said about that time her arm was burning. So she looked down thinking, fuck, I got bit by a spider, something, because you're in the woods. And she had 3 marks that started at her wrist all the way to her elbow. So the length of where, like Julia Roberts says, your foot would be, You know, like the length of your foot.
Yeah.
All of that was 3 marks. Which again is like Sally House, how she would do 3 marks. Like all of the things that have been like demon possession and stuff has been like 3 longer marks. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying from what I've read before. Here's where we're going to get into it at Ghost Adventures. So, Ashley is Jay's wife, and Jay is one of the investigators.
Okay.
He's Zach's,
right-hand man.
Well, he'd be left hand, I guess. Aaron is closer to Zach, I think. Anyway, whatever. He didn't write that to me. He tweeted it.
Damn, you would shit your pants.
Girl. I probably would. I should tweet him and be like, you like extra large pizza? He'd be like, girl, I love it. And my pepperoni.
Damn.
Or
with
sausage.
Pineapple.
Oh, God.
I know it. That's why I said it.
He probably would.
Mm-hmm. Anchovies and shit.
Oh, God. Something smells fishy.
Oh, God.
Okay. Sorry. We're getting back to the seriousness.
I know. I'm ready.
Okay. So, Ashley, she was overcome with like this emotional sadness and then anger. So her and Zach are sitting on the bus. They were in like a tour bus. And Zach is like, are you thinking bad things? And she was like, yeah. And he was like, do you want to hurt me? And she like looked at him and she was like, yeah. And he was like, oh shit. And so,
not good.
Yeah. So he went and talked to the Belinda and the other lady he had interviewed. And they were like, yeah, this happens to women who go to the bridge in the woods, really. Like it preys on the women in the woods.
That sounds like something, and I can't think of what it is. Like a episode of like American Horror Story or something like that. But it's not. I can't think of what it is.
Well, after that, Zach's like, look, go to the hotel, clear your mind, whatever. Well, she's like, look, I want to face this head on, but I'm going to go. But later, I want to come back. Like, stand your ground.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, she does. And an unseen entity hits her in the face, which you could see, like, they're at base camp watching as she's in the woods, right? Like, where, they could get to her, but
yeah,
like you kind of see her like go down, like on her knees a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that she, got hit in the face. And then later you can see a swollen welt on her head. Then she sees an orb and her camera captures like the orb manifesting in front of her and then slowly disappearing.
Nope.
Yeah. They heard a growl. They heard gunshots and a slapping noise. They also saw a pair of floating eyes with no body at the entrance of the forest. And I did see that clip.
What?
Mm-hmm. And I would say it could be an animal, but how it was, like, I don't know what it could be because they were kind of floaty.
Yeah.
Everyone heard some humming in the forest. Aaron said he kind of felt like he was going deaf in his ears. And it was just like really, really strange. So he's kind of disoriented because he's like fucking going deaf. But all I can think about is like his ears popping. And that's what he's hearing, like when that happens, which I hate. But then force kind of seemingly throws Aaron about 20 feet.
Ooh.
Causing multiple minor injuries, which again is what they have said before, that people have been tossed and like shoved several feet.
Yeah.
When Jay turns to see what happened to Aaron, he claims that he sees a dark figure behind Aaron, like after he was thrown. Aaron began to lose a lot of his energy, and he actually passes out momentarily.
Damn.
Yeah. Zach, when Aaron was having that attack, afterwards, Zach said he felt like something was tightening around his throat, like a noose.
Yeah.
Almost. And he became kind of angry again with they say you can be aggressive on the bridge. But yeah, so he's like being very aggressive and not wanting anyone to touch him at one point, Yeah, because Jay tries to step in and help him, and like Zach fights him off. So Ashley, the one who had gotten slapped and shit, she had been their still photographer on that show for a long time. And after that episode, she quit the show.
What?
Mm-hmm. And they said she's still dealing with an attachment.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So, like, that's pretty freaking serious.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. So, if you do, because people said that you can find artifacts and shit that look like ritualistic things happening in the woods, and that actually, I think it was on BuzzFeed, that they said there was a pet store and they stopped like selling cats or something because people would go and get it for an animal sacrifice. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what they said.
Fuck.
Yeah. So, like, if you think about that, no telling what people have conjured up, trying to be freaking practical magic.
Yes.
But, so there's that. I will say that people, like some articles said, they looked for Oscar Washburn and Jack Kendall, but they couldn't find any historical records of them. But again, with these old stories, not saying that those stories are true or whatever, but records, like, really, if you can't find a record of someone, it's like, okay, well, it was on a fucking piece of bark.
Or especially for slaves or...
Yes. People of color.
Yes.
Yeah. And especially if the KKK was involved.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Like, they're going to be like, oh, they didn't even fucking exist.
Exactly.
And people are going to believe that they didn't even exist. Not me. I believe they did. But I don't believe Jack Kendall danced with his headless head and pulled the goat head off and put it on himself.
Me neither.
Don't believe that. But I do believe they probably killed him and killed Oscar Washburn.
Mm-hmm.
If they existed. I have no doubt that people are that petty.
Yep.
Especially with that mindset. You don't deserve anything. I deserve everything. How dare you think you're better than me? I'm going to show you.
Yep.
That is my haunted bridge story.
I like that story.
Yay! I did too. It was kind of like not a whole lot of substance, but I mean, I wouldn't want to go in the woods.
No, fuck no. And I mean, shit. That girl's still dealing with an attachment? That's big.
Yeah. Like, she quit the show.
Because you know how many places they go into.
Yeah.
Like, and the serious shit they see.
Yeah. And, like, her mannerisms, God. But when Zach was interviewing her in the, not really interviewing, but, asking her, she, like, didn't want to look at him and just, like, was kind of dazed and stuff. So it was something affecting her.
Yeah.
That was hard.
Damn.
But of course they have to pick on fucking women.
I wonder, were there any black people on his crew?
No.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah, that actually really would. But I think that would be really bad for them to be like, oh, here's a token.
Oh, yeah. No.
You know what I mean? That's what that would.
Yeah.
That's what that would be like, because they don't have a person of color.
Yeah.
So that is my story.
I liked it. All right. So what did we learn?
Okay, I learned that you're never safe from your story because people who, I mean, we've heard about the Craigslist killer and stuff like that, but that person was selling or selling a truck or buying a truck. Yeah, selling his truck. Dude, Lake kills him. You know.
We could have killed Pedro.
Damn, we could have. But we're not killers. And, I mean, I don't want to get that car messy because I love it. But, like, you really aren't safe anywhere.
Yeah.
And it really can be anything.
Yep.
I can't remember all the details now because I'm, like, now on my story.
Yeah.
But it was several different things where people, I mean, obviously the, like, back page kind of thing.
Yeah.
Usually that goes south, especially if it's, like, someone on the down low. Because, of course, it would ruin them as they think if that got out. And it's like, dude, okay, so you're scared people are going to find out your sexual
preference.
Yeah. But you'll kill someone.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sure. Ugh. And just, again, how egotistical most killers are.
Yep.
Like, my life is so important and it will be ruined. I'm going to take yours. Like, you are beneath me.
Right.
Like, no one's going to miss you. Life will go on. But for me, you know, oh, God.
Well, and I think that can be also, like, number 2. Because that kind of, if the part about the Goatman, you know, being killed because his goats were prosperous and he had good milk and cheese and blah, 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 then, I mean, same thing. Like, people are always going to want to take what's not theirs. Well, people, not always, but there will always be someone who wants to take something that's not theirs, that they did not work for, that they, you know, that they feel that they're entitled to. Like, there's always going to be that person that's that way.
Yes.
And you just have to protect yourself.
Yes. Because they always are just unhinged, you know, with, be it spreading rumors, you know, especially like with social media, you know.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And once it's out there, it's out there.
Yeah.
Or it's being bullied a different way or killed, tortured. Oh, gosh. It's just, I am so paranoid.
I know.
3, not really pertaining to these stories, but last week, not the listener episode, but the one, what was it? 18. When I was talking about Alcatraz, I didn't say anything because I wanted to hear if anyone else heard it, because we didn't hear anything when we recorded it. But I'm talking about Alcatraz, and I'm talking about the door, like creak, like I could hear it on the audio tour, the cell blocks, you know, door opening and all that. Well, at that time, I hear a door creak. It sounds like a door opens when I'm talking about that. And when I was listening to it, when Will had edited it, it freaked me out. I was like, wait, what was that? I thought it was here. Did it again, and it happened, you know, like I replayed that part. It happened. So I texted him, and I was like, dude, you got me.
Yeah.
Like, dang, that was scary. And he was like, what? I'm like, that sound effect. And he was like, I wouldn't have done that without asking you if you wanted that.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like, maybe it was a chair, you know, whatever. No, it is a door, like, opening.
But, like, creaky. Like, not like a, just like, I don't know.
Like, I don't know what that is, but go back and listen to that and see if you can tell me what you think that is.
The timestamp was, like, 1 hour and 12 or 13 minutes. I think
13.
It's right at 1:13. So that's the timestamp of about where it is.
Yeah. Talking about Alcatraz, the door creaking, it's right there. I just want to know, like, again, me and Kerri did not hear anything because we would have made note of that. So let us know what you think.
Yes. And remember,
creep it real and don't get scared.